this. I really can't. Hey friends, so we're trying to do this again. We're back up and running. Okay.
Okay, we're the
Hey,
ones.
yo, the
Hey.
pods are up and running.
Oh, and we got better lighting.
Ooh,
We
better
got better
lighting.
audio.
Dude, the sun is actually chasing onto me. I'm gonna have to like change this every once in a while. Wow. Okay, so how was the casting process? You go first, and I'll go after you.
Okay. For me, the casting process was, it was kind of crazy. It moved really fast for me just because I came really late in the process. Leah actually tested with a bunch of other people before I had even gone in for my first audition. So I went in the first time, and then it went really well. I remember the casting director, Snacks Woo, shout out.
Snacks, woo!
Leslie Wu. She was just so much fun. She really, I was in the room for like 25 minutes. Like, she just wanted to get the perfect take. And that was really, really, really fun. And then I ended up doing a Skype call with Alice shortly after that. And then I ended up doing the chemistry read with Leah. And it went so well. I mean, it was just so natural and easygoing. We hit it off right off the bat.
Totally.
And then I drove her home. So her boyfriend didn't have to come all the way to Santa Monica to come pick her up.
Guys, it was a rough ride. This place, the casting place, was kind of far away from where we lived.
Yeah, it really far, actually.
Like, super far.
Yeah, and we actually were stuck in traffic on the way back home.
It was nice, though. I feel like it
we
gave us
just
a chance to talk and listen to music and just, like, find out that we had actually had a couple mutual friends, but would have never, ever met each other had it not been for a project like this. It kind of felt like it was like a little play date. Like,
No,
we
really,
met here, had a lot of fun, and then when we parted ways too, we traded numbers and like we said we were gonna stay friends anyway, which I found really dope.
Yeah, and I remember calling you when I booked it, and we both were just super stoked. Yeah.
And then
So
the
that
next
was
time I
pretty
saw
much,
you was in New York.
yeah. So that was pretty much my process. It was just a lot of fun, and I had an easier, I think, I had an easier process than Leah did. So Leah, go ahead on your crazy process.
Hey, Pooba! You saw Pooba!
Say it.
Pooba has it up. Alexxis?
I'm trying to get
That
it
was
to stay on my
incredible.
phone. Okay.
And totally not plant. These plants are like the worst thing in the world. Let me tell you right now, this morning I put on my favorite pair of jeans and a freaking spider flew out of the cuff.
Nope.
And I was shook. I was like, how dare you come into my house during this quarantine, during
The
this really
audacity.
sensitive time in my life and trick on me like that. I was so lit. Anyway, so my casting process was a bit longer than Alexis's, and I went in, I'd say like over 5 times, and I kind of went in with a much more confident, reassured, I'd say more out there, kind of really rom-comedy version of Ellie, and I feel like it really worked in the first couple of stages, and then I actually met Alice and started talking to her, and she just kind of was like, that's not really Ellie at all, but I would love to hear about you. And we just talked about our lives together, and she actually was able to help me find the deeper, more internal, like patient, more side of myself to be able to step into the role of Ellie Chu after with a bunch of other more trials and reading a play called No Exit that she had me do like a little verbal book report on. Like, that was really dope. But the chemistry tests with Daniel were, I mean, we had so much fun in the room. I felt like Daniel just was Paul right off the bat. But with Alexxis, like, it really was, I mean, her and I had no clue we were going to book the roles. I had been in, like, how many times, and I still didn't know if I was going to book the role. So it was kind of like, okay, we're just going to give this our all and just see what happens. There's nothing left to lose. And also, too, as an actor, like, I feel like we were auditioning a lot during that time. So it was like, this was kind of the first project that I was like, oh my God, this could really happen.
Yeah.
And we're doing this together. It's really cool. But yeah, and then I booked Ellie, and I remember being in like Ralph's, and I was like, ah! I like started crying. I was like, no way! And Pooba, my boyfriend, was with me, and it was like, yeah, it was that really cool moment of like, oh my God, like all of this whole process was so worth it.
Yeah.
And to do it with you, boo boo. Okay, wait.
Okay.
Okay, so more questions. Any opportunity for a music collab? So you guys have been talking a lot about us doing a duet, and because of social distancing, we have decided that it would only be proper to kind of wait until things are safer to do that.
Yeah. And it's hard to do it over a live and being in the right spot and, you know, the connection going in and out. Obviously, you guys have seen I am not good with any sort of like technical stuff. I want to like throw my phone out the window half the time. But yeah, I think we kind of decided we wanted to be able to do a really cool cover when we're in person and have like a really cool song that we agree on, and Leah can play on the guitar. We can
like hold hands and like, you know, have a picnic and do the proper way to make a cover.
Yeah, I think you guys will enjoy that more anyways, rather than doing it on this live and it being like, kind of thrown together. Yeah.
Totally. Okay, next question. What kind of movies and roles do you want to play in next?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's actually a good question.
That's a great question.
Well, something I personally have always been super into is I love horror movies. I'm kind of like addicted to them. I'm like the worst. I will stay at home and like be by myself and watch horror films by myself alone. And people are like, "Are you like what is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Okay. So I've done one horror film, but I've always wanted to do like one of the Conjuring universe type films.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I got really close to booking Annabelle, the latest Annabelle, and it didn't work out. But I just remember going in for that, and man, I was so obsessed with the film, with the Conjuring universe. Like I know so much about that world. So that's definitely something that I'd want to be doing.
Hey, I forgot that you were there. Like, who's that man in your apartment?
I'm in the lobby.
I was like,
you're gonna see some people kind of walking in and out, whatever.
That's fine. Special guest.
So I think like a really cool horror film or some like badass like action film would be a lot to do. Yeah. What about you?
I really want to play. It would be cool to do another like really obscure indie coming of age rom-com, but for an age that's maybe like 20 years old rather than in high school.
Like college.
Yeah. Or also I've always wanted to similarly be in an action film where like I have to physically exert myself and be like, okay, time to whoop ass. Like like, okay, ooh, suit up. Like something really, really cool like that where like I feel like you really got to get a bang for your buck in order to survive by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And just, like I feel like it'd be cool to do something specifically that has to do with being Asian. Maybe being like a kung fu fighter or Mulan 2. No, just kidding. Like the person who's playing Mulan is
Lily Lemon cut out.
live paused because I have like a time limit on my phone that sets like at 15 minutes Instagram's done for you, and it just reminded me.
You're like, oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, sad. I'm gonna be on here for like another hour.
And this is why we cannot sing on Instagram.
Okay, another question.
Yeah, I can open the door for you. Here you go. Yeah, of course.
Oh, sweet of you.
Ew. What we got?
I'm like,
I see one right here. What's the most memorable moment that we have from shooting the half of it?
the whole thing. Don't mind me. I'm just like I'm just readjusting myself. You go ahead and answer that question. I'm
the most memorable moment. Honestly, it would probably have to be the day of the hot springs. We actually were supposed to hit the hot springs on my birthday, but it ended up
which is coming up soon. Lego.
But it ended up being like super rainy, and there was supposed to be like thunderstorms and lightning. So for safety reasons, we had to flip the days. So we ended up doing that. That scene the last day on set. So that was pretty memorable and surreal. Like doing this scene that I think we waited all like the whole entire time filming for. And it was just so cool to just see this hot spring that wasn't even a real hot spring. It was made, but it looked so real. And it was just, we had a lot of fun shooting it. And we kind of came up with our little deciduous move.
Deciduous. Oh, Alice. Oh my God. There were so many words in this movie that I like could not pronounce. And it appeared like I was joking around, but I really like they were just stuck in my brain. Like, what was it? Deciduous and deciduous?
Deciduous, and it's deciduous.
And then Camus, I kept saying Camus. I was like, and the theory of Camus is and she's like, Camus. And I'm like, okay, the theory of Camus. Camus. Like,
but yeah, I'd say that was probably the most memorable day / part on set for me. It was just that scene I had been looking forward to doing the whole movie. It's just
also that was like our audition scene. It's like I feel like we thought the scene was gonna go one way, and then to actually have that come to fruition for us together, and after being through this whole movie together as friends, it was just like, ooh,
we were as close as we possibly could have been at that point. So it was
absolutely, and it was the last day, and it was like, is this really happening?
Yeah, we savored every moment for sure, because it was the last day, which was like,
Alice was so cool with always reminding Alexxis and I to like stay present too. She'd be like whispering in our ears like, this is the last time you're ever gonna feel this, and we're like, you're right.
Like, what?
Oh my God, Alexxis, I love you. I love you. This scene's almost over, but I love you. Like, we're gonna get this together. Like, we're gonna savor this moment.
Yeah. Okay,
more questions. Favorite Office quote. Go, girl.
Oh, I think my favorite, there's so many, but I think one that I kind of relate to is Jan. It's from Dinner Party. I told you that's my favorite episode of all time. But Michael's dipping his steak in the wine, and Jan's like, "You stop doing that. It's disgusting." And he's like, "You know I have soft teeth. Why would you say that?" And I literally have like really soft teeth. I get cavities all the time. So I just relate to that line, and every time I hear it, I die laughing. I think it's so funny. He's like, "You know I have soft teeth. How could you say that?"
Oh, cutie.
Yeah, it's my favorite quote. What about you? You don't watch The Office like as religiously, so would you know?
Yeah, I don't have a quote. I just really like watching Benihana Christmas over and over again, and that's good enough for me.
That is such. Suddenly, she's not yo ho. It's yo ho.
She is not yo ho.
No ho. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So good. That's such a good episode.
The things that are good are very, very good. Okay, you ask a question.
I ask a question, or I pick a question?
I
don't know. I'm not good at asking questions. Somebody ask a question, I'll read one.
We'll pick. Send a kiss to Brazil.
Okay. How would you say you relate to your character?
Roberta,
hi, I love you, miss you.
Hey, Robiana. That was one of our hairdressers, and he was actually really why Astor Flores has such gorgeous hair this whole film.
Literally, I would always be like the first person on set, even though I'd be like the second to last scene, because poor Roberta had to, his name's Robert, but I call him Roberta. He had to curl my hair, and it was so humid and like wet out, it would just die. So then he would have to end up like recurling my whole head anyways. But shout out to Roberta and Chrissy.
During the last scene where Ellie and Asher say goodbye to each other, that day was particularly humid, and I remember Robert flying in with the curling iron.
Literally,
Like,
because it was
we
raining.
have to get the wispy tendrils, like the really beautiful pieces around a female's
Yes.
hair that make her look very romantic.
Yeah, and it was raining, so then the curls would like die and get, because my hair is naturally like, this is kind of how it is naturally. It's pretty like wavy at the top, but then it kind of falls a little like straight at the bottom. But
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, the rain would make it like literally fall flat, and Roberta would be like, "Wah!" And you would come in with the
Yeah,
hair curling iron, and yeah, you'd fix it. But sorry, we had to say hi to Rabiana. Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, so do you feel like you relate to Ellie?
Ellie and I relate in many different ways, given the fact that our initial instinct personality is a little different from each other, mine being a little more out there. I'm also a little older than Ellie as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellie is more being kind of withdrawn and figuring things out on her own. I do really kind of have the depth of thought that Ellie has, the way that she really, really picks through things and internalizes them. Despite being an extrovert, I really do take things like that very deeply to heart as well. And I feel like I do have a very introverted and patient, very observant side of myself that I really, really enjoy, which is a little more like in secret and more personal for me. So it
Yeah.
was kind of cool to be Ellie Chu because it's like I'm being this character in public, but this is a very personal side to me, to Leah, that is normally like in private or for
Right.
people that I'm very close with. But also, too, just given the fact that Ellie is Asian and she is grown up in America, I feel like I can relate to that. Even though I wasn't from an immigrant family, I definitely faced some of similar challenges that she faced, kind
Yeah.
of living in a place where the Asian community was not as large.
You guys can
Um,
hear? Oh, okay.
yeah. And how
Sorry.
about you, baby?
Um, sorry, I didn't know if these people were trying to get into the apartment or not. I would say, yeah, I would say, I think in most ways, I definitely. I hope everybody's okay. I definitely, I connect with Aster a lot. I think that it worked so well, and I connected even with Alice in so many aspects because I just started like talking to her about my life and how even when I was in high school, I kind of was also this introverted extrovert. I kind of tried to get along with everybody, but there was no real set of friends or people that I fully felt like 100% accepted by or connected to.
Totally.
Aster feels a lot of the same thing, especially with being around Trig and her quaddy friends who don't fully understand her. And it's not that they don't, she doesn't love them or care about them, they just don't really see the real her, I don't think. And so yeah, I think in that sense I do connect with Aster a lot, and that's why it was so fun to play her, because I think I was a lot of the time really just able to be myself.
Yeah.
So that was really nice.
Also, too, I feel like because we connect to these roles so in depth and
Yeah.
we, as friends off screen, were so close, I feel like it really helped translate that on screen as well. Even though our characters didn't know each other, just having that
Yeah.
underlying connection. It's kind of like the silent connection beneath
Right.
the words that we are saying or not saying. And I feel like that helped a lot as well.
1,000%. I totally agree with that.
Thank you for being you.
I concur.
Thank you for being
Thank
you.
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 Lara, it's Speedy, you're
Oh my god.
Dude, I miss that. That's one thing I just miss being like that. And being stupid. We would just have like the dumbest inside jokes, but we would be just like, there was one night at dinner, remember? We were crying laughing. We had a laughing fit.
Wait, was this when we were getting like the not so good sushi? And we were in there being so loud, like so loud.
I forgot about that. I wasn't even talking about that. And Daniel's like,
okay, can we stop talking about like Kalani and girl things?
Like, can we please just not?
He's like, okay, can you not talk about that?
We're like,
oh yeah, sorry. We just kind of went off on nonsense.
Whoops, Sally.
Oh my god. that was so
Okay,
fun.
what other questions we got?
Okay. Did you nada? Some of
Hello?
these like don't make sense. Oh
Hello?
wow. Okay, was the kiss scene weird?
No,
No.
not at all.
We're just chill, you know?
It was just like, honestly, it felt super just kind of like normal. Not that we like had kissed before, but it was just like, I don't know, it was just like comfortable. And especially when you are that comfortable with somebody. Like, I mean, Leah saw me wake up in the morning in my hotel room with like my retainers in my mouth. So it was like, I wasn't really
So
worried
cute, by the
about
way.
like,
So cute.
I wasn't really worried about like having bad breath or like if she'd be like a bad kisser or if I was a bad kisser. It was just kind of like we didn't care. But since also the connection was there just as friends, it just felt super comfortable and natural. Like it didn't feel weird at all. I mean, to me, I don't know about you, but it was like
No,
super cool to
I
me.
totally agree.
Yeah.
I think the connection is kind of the underlying thing of it. And also, when you put yourself in real life positions, like say Alexxis kissing someone in real life and Leah kissing someone in real life, tapping into those emotions while also building on top of the connection that we have, it does kind of create this very natural and complete world of like, oh, okay, like this is all very real and it's okay and it's happening in us and we're very present for it. And
Yeah.
yeah, like also too, it wasn't like super insane. I feel like okay, and I'm gonna stop there. Woo!
I'm just gonna stop.
Just gonna
No, yeah. I
little
mean,
cap on that.
yeah, no, but if there's anything I could say about that, it just was super natural and comfortable. What?
Wait, how did you feel about slapping Paul? Question from Jenny and Milet.
Oh, that was hard for me personally, just because, knowing Daniel would never do anything to deserve like a slap like
Oh my
that, first
god.
of all. But
Poor
second of
Daniel.
all, it was also just like, not only was that like a big kind of arc that you see kind of happen in Aster, something really kind of switches and you don't see that side of her. But I also had to kind of like the way it was set up was like I kind of had to try and line myself up in this church. So I had to line up to like his pew. And I didn't even look at him during the slap. And I don't know if you can see that on camera because they took the shot that was from behind. But I didn't look at Daniel when I slapped him. So I kind of had to just hope and pray each time that we did the shot that I was getting to the right spot to kind of like be able to hit his face. But I stayed looking at Ellie the whole time because it was more so a slap to Ellie than it was to Paul. I mean, physically Paul felt it, but I think emotionally Ellie felt it more than anybody, as she kind of should have. So yeah, so that slap was pretty like, it was kind of difficult to do. And poor Daniel, after each take, I just had to be like, baby, are you okay? Did I hit too hard? Like, tell me if I'm hitting you too
Daniel's
hard.
like, yeah, give it your all.
He's like, no, you're fine. He's so sweet. So yeah, so that was definitely the weirdest slap I've ever had to give. Have I ever even slapped somebody before? I don't even think I've really like honestly slapped somebody before. So that was kind of a first for me in general too. So
It looked good though.
thank you.
Yeah, you really went like.
It wasn't like super hard, but it was like,
You're like, that's enough.
I'm mad.
I actually tried to do that when I was younger. I like found out this guy that I liked had a girlfriend, and I tried. I tried to like slap him, but it wasn't like hard at all. It was like. It was like. And I was like, oh, that didn't land the way that I thought it would.
He's like, okay.
He's like, thank you for the gentle cheek touch. I'm like, you're welcome.
Got a blast.
Saying goodbye.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh, it's so good. Okay.
Wait, what were your thoughts when I slapped him but was looking at you the whole time? Like, as Ellie, like, what were your thoughts?
It was kind of a moment of like, thank God you didn't just marry Trig, but also like, ooh, we deserve that, and I'm sorry that Paul was the one to take that.
Yeah.
It was definitely a moment of like, I'm really satisfied with this situation, like mayhem, but also like, I feel like Ellie was already thinking about ways to apologize to Aster in the later scene.
Mhm.
I don't know if people even know this too. Like that one shot of the sun going down is some time has gone by. Like a lot of
Yeah.
time has gone by.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I feel like in that moment it was like, okay, like I'll deal with everything else later.
Yeah.
I really just felt that moment. And also like this was the first time that Ellie like came out.
Yeah. It's a big deal
And
for her.
yeah, and in ways like Aster was cool enough not to be like, what, Ellie? And like totally out her as well, and totally respected that kind of silent bond that they had, while also still being really pizzled
Hurt,
at
angry.
Paul.
Yeah.
Really confused and duped.
Yeah. Duped. It's my favorite word. Duped. I saw another one that I kind of liked. What was your favorite trailer snack?
Trailer?
Yeah, like in our trailers. Like, what snack would you always have in your in the trailer?
Oh, trailer snack?
I feel like you always had like trail mix or something, like some sort of nuts.
Yeah, nuts. You and those gummy worms, you guys.
Gummy bears.
Alexxis would eat these gummy bears, and I'd literally text her and be like, "Hey, can I go in your bedroom and take some? Because we like shared keys." I was like,
"Oh
hey,
yeah, we had
just
keys
dropping
to each
clothes
other's."
off. I want you to know it was me who ate the rest of the gummy bears, the
We
greens.
had keys to each other's hotel rooms. I forgot about that. I'd be like, "Baby, I'm going into your room and I'm taking a sweatshirt. I love you. Bye."
I'm like, okay, I'll get it back. Like, just make sure you bring it back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I always had, but not any gummy bears. They had to be either Haribo gummy bears or the what is it? Like the sour Trolley Bright crawlers. Those are my favorite gummy bears. I love candy. I'm like, but like sugary candy. Like I like chocolate, but like when I eat something like after, I always want something sugary. So I always had some sort of nasty sugar candy in my trailer at all times.
No, you actually always did though, and I was always on the receiving end of that, being like, she's not here right now, but you know, I want to take a couple bears.
Just like,
she's not gonna notice. If anything, she'd encourage me to. So you know.
I know, and we had the middle of our trailer, like you know, you kind of foresaw everything going on. So.
I remember I'd be like reading, and you're like, Lily, are you reading or sleeping? Can we talk?
I just looked up the middle.
Okay.
And if she needed some space, I'd be like, Mimi, do you want to read in quiet? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Bye.
You're like, okay, I'm going to FaceTime my mom now. I'm like, okay, sweet. Tell her I said hi.
Literally, so fun. Literally my life.
Oh my God. There was one day on set where it was a scene where Daniel/Paul hits his home run. And it
hits his home run?
Hits his, what do you call it?
Gets a touchdown, wrong sport. I like gets a home run. I prefer it.
Yes, Paul hits a touchdown turnaround. And it was raining really hard that day. And Alexxis and I were just sitting in the trailer, and we had like scenes to shoot that day, but it just like wasn't happening. And I remember our producer coming in and being like, you guys, like, are you okay? But like, yeah, like we're fine. The storm's like a raging outside. Poor Daniel's out there like running in the rain.
And all the extras.
So yes, they did so good though.
Yeah, no, he did. He handled it so well. So I keep seeing this question actually that I kind of want to answer.
Go for it.
People keep asking me if by the time, you know, we had our scenes in the hot spring or the church, if I knew that it was you. So I guess really kind of how I want to answer that is, you know, even though with the way that we connected as Aster and Ellie and kind of seeing the similarities maybe to the writing, I don't think my mind was really thinking about the fact that that could be a possibility. I think really what I was focused on, especially with Ellie, was finding a friend and a girl who understood me.
Totally.
You know, even in, you know, and I'll say this again, the bathroom scene where, you know, these girls are talking about Wenatchee, I think I really see for the first time, you know, you're kind of like, what are they talking about? That's so stupid. And I saw that reaction, and, you know, we have this moment, and I just think that it's more about our connection and the things that we were connecting on, rather than thinking about like, oh, I wonder if this is the girl that's writing the letters. I don't think my mind went there once. So really, when I found out in the church, and I think you can kind of see it from my reaction, I didn't know. I didn't know. And I think that's why it really, really hurt so bad. So I just wanted to address that question, because I feel like I keep getting asked that. It's kind of like, you know, how did Aster not know? Like, my mind didn't go there. The connection that Aster and Ellie had was just a really organic connection, and I think Aster was extremely intrigued by that. So
I think that's good to address, because I definitely did see a lot of people drawing different parallels about, I mean, there was one specifically I saw on Twitter where someone was like, oh, like, is Ellie in this glass box and Aster sees through this glass box? Like, does Aster see through Ellie's sexuality and possibly her own sexuality? And kind of like you said, like, it really was just about them being two girls in this world that doesn't make sense to them.
right.
Like, they kind of feel like the odd ones out. And I feel like that is so important to really focus on as well, because I feel like it's even more of a transformation when Aster does realize that in the end with herself, not knowing that through all of this. Like, it really does rely solely on the connection, and I feel like that's what helps them to see, like, okay, like, this might be okay for us.
1,000%. I totally agree with that.
100%.
100. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Brittany. I love this thing
My baby. Brittany Scarpy, I love you so much. Okay.
Some people said, were there some scenes that were cut? You know, there was actually there was a part of our hot tub scene that did get cut, where we were kind of bantering a little bit more and being a little more, I wouldn't say flirty, but definitely catching on to each other's vibe.
Yeah.
And then another scene that Alexxis was in, that you should explain.
That what? I should explain?
Yeah.
Okay.
It involved both of us, but it was mostly your scene.
Yeah, and actually we did it. We did this scene that got cut in the audition room when we did our chem read. It kind of was like an impromptu thing. It was something that I actually was supposed to do by myself. But Leslie was like, you know what? Let's play around. She tried to get like this cardboard box to kind of put between our chairs because basically the premise of the scene was I'm supposed to be in this confessional. Just kind of, you know, pouring my heart out in a sense, just kind of feeling really confused and a little bit defeated and guilty. So she kind of addresses that, not knowing that Ellie is actually on the other side. So we had this actually in the audition room, and we had the box in between us, and Ellie was kind of reacting to everything that I was saying. It was actually a cool scene, but I think we kind of covered a lot of that in the hot spring scene, and this kind of the discussion we had with Alice, where it was kind of like, you know, it wasn't 100% necessary, so they decided to leave it out. But it was actually a really fun scene, not only to shoot, but to do in our chem read. It was a lot of fun. That's actually, I think, too, where Leslie, the casting director, really kind of saw both of us playing these roles. So that was really fun. Yeah, so.
And also, too, like, even though it didn't make the movie, the standalone scene by itself, like, that is the first time we really see Aster open up to a god that she may or may not believe in at this moment. And also not knowing that Ellie is on the other side, that's kind of Ellie's first time, like, really hearing what she did wrong. And understanding that the person that she's in love with is on the other side of this, feeling all these things and not feeling like her existence is okay in this confusing world of Squamish. And I don't know, I always found that scene really beautiful. And yes, we do brush up on that on the end scene, and we clarify everything and we understand how Aster feels, but I think people deserve to know that you really crushed that, and that was a really beautiful scene.
Thank you, BB. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What's another thing that I kind of want to like address stuff, because like I feel like we've answered questions and I love that, but I think we keep getting some reoccurring questions.
Okay, let's ask. What are some things you guys? Oh, sequel. So you guys, just gonna clear the rumors up here. Alexxis and I have been dreaming of sequels A through Z. We have no clue whether a sequel is going to happen. And if anything, something that I've kind of talked about, and I feel like Alexxis has as well with Alice, is really just staying in the ending that we have right now and kind of internalizing that for yourselves and seeing what you think the ending might be. Maybe Netflix will hear you and I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's important right now too is like, you know, this film just came out a week ago, and we just kind of really want everyone to soak in the now and, you know,
Totally.
really appreciate this film for what it is. You know, Alice is absolutely brilliant. Her script was absolutely brilliant. And I think what I personally would love to focus on right now is just what we have and what's in front of us, and,
Totally.
and exactly what you said, kind of taking the ending and, you know, thinking about it and relating it to yourself in a way, and kind of coming up with your own sort of what happens after. And, you know, a sequel kind of really isn't up to us, so we don't know.
Yeah, we really don't know. But I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, so we just wanted to address that. And then I think there was another one that I was about. Oh, bloopers. We did not have time to get bloopers.
Alice is so funny. She's like, we didn't have the budget for bloopers. We really didn't have time for bloopers. Like, anytime there was a blooper, it was like, okay, we're back in line. Like, but I feel like a lot of the bloopers were like offset when you and I were hanging out and like with Daniel. And Wolfgang too.
And Wolfgang, I need to find, I know there's some videos, I think, on my Snapchat that I don't use, so maybe I should go and take a look-ski and see what I have on there for more videos, but
we'll compile some stuff for you.
Yeah, we'll compile some of our own stuff, but I don't think we have.
I have one of us at the park swinging.
You do? See, you hoard them.
No, I don't hoard them. I take them. I'm like, oh, wait, let me get this real quick.
No, you're right. You definitely were the one who, like, you always... I have some funny video of you drinking, like, a smoothie, too, with Puba at, what was that place called?
Bari.
You love Bari.
Oh, my God.
I was not into it.
I still get emails from Bari and True Foods, and I'm like...
Oh, I do, too. I think they stopped, though. True Food, they recently were like, you haven't answered in a while, so like we're gonna stop sending you texts. And I was like, no, please don't.
They're like, thank you, True Food. Bye.
I miss True Food and my coffee.
Okay, wait, one more. We have to say hi to Brazil. It's a ritual.
Hi, Brazil.
Hi, Brazil.
We appreciate you guys so much. We see you.
Obrigado.
We see you.
I just want to say thank you in Portuguese. So I'm going to be like, obrigado, obrigado.
No, thank you guys for your support. We really do love you, and we see you, and we appreciate you. And I think it's like really early over there, isn't it? So whoever is on from Brazil right now.
Yeah, guys, if you have school tomorrow, like online, get off Instagram Live. This is your mom telling you.
This is your mom saying go to bed.
This is your mom saying hit the pillow.
But I would actually really love to go to Brazil sometime. So maybe we plan a trip when this is all over.
Take a cruise to Rio.
Please take a flight.
Okay, what else can we answer? Oh, okay. Why do you think Aster kissed Paul after the hot spring scene? Or why do you think she kissed Paul in general? Like, clear up the rumors about Trig. Like, where's Aster at?
I think kind of her driving force behind that was, you know, she really had this crazy connection with Ellie in the hot springs, and she has this connection with him, she thinks, through these letters, and she kind of gets confused because anytime she talks to him in person or asks him like a serious question or anything like that, he just doesn't, it doesn't add up. And then, you know,
it's like fries or more fries.
Yeah. She asks him this question about God, and he's like, yeah, no, of course I believe in God. Where she had just had this open conversation with Ellie about not believing in God and having that kind of talk, and which was something that she's never heard about or expressed any sort of conversation about with anybody before. And then, you know, he's like, I got your painting. It was really pretty. And she's just kind of like, what is it? What is it with you? Like, and I think it kind of came from this place of like, I need to feel if it's just like this feeling. So she kind of just grabs him and is like, I just need to like, it almost looks a little frustrating. She kind of just grabs him and it's just like, I need to feel whatever this is.
Totally.
And try to understand where this feeling is coming from. And, you know, the kiss wasn't, you know, the most romantic, like, you know, even you kind of see after the kiss, I kind of pull away and I'm like, I'm still kind of confused, but I think this guy is behind the letters. So I'm like, I'm trying to bring it out of him.
You're like, that was nice?
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of think that's where that came from. I don't think there was any...
Sorry, Sam, my friend.
No. I don't think that there was any sort of, like, big reason behind it other than she was just trying to understand what was kind of going on with him.
Totally. And also, too, like, I feel like the audience can kind of see that. Like, everyone knows that this connection with Paul isn't as... sees kind of... I mean, the audience sees everything. The audience sees... Oh, can you see me?
What? You froze
Hello?
for a second.
Oh, am I here?
Hello? You froze for a second.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Am I back?
Hi.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Why can't I hear me? Why can't you hear me?
Wait, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Can you see me?
Wait, I've heard you this whole time.
Oh,
I can hear you.
For
Yeah.
a second. Oh, okay. You know what?
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to answer a question about my Mandarin. Yes, I did have to learn Mandarin for this film. I'm not a native Mandarin speaker. I would like to learn about that sometime, but that language is actually very, very difficult. I learned for like 2 months in lessons, like twice a week, and Alice really, really helped me through all of that, and she was so patient, very patient, because I was like, I mean, there's so many different things to learn about the Mandarin language. But yeah, and then another question for both of us that I read is, would we like to work together again?
No doubt in my mind. I would love to do another film with you, whether that is a sequel, wink, wink, or that's something totally different. I would love to kind of see like a different side of Ellie and Aster, and like a different, you know, just a totally different film. I think that would be kind of cool to see us take on something different with each other. It'd be a cool experience.
Dude, absolutely. Sequel would be cool, but also like something where we could like, what if we were like partners in crime and like fought bad guys?
Dude, that would be so fun. It would be so fun to do an action film with you, I feel like. We would have so much fun.
We would have so much fun, like falling out of helicopters together.
Dude, I really want to do an action film. You're making me want to do an action film.
Or a musical!
A musical!
I'm trying to see if my roommate said that.
You know what's funny is like I love music and I love singing for myself, because obviously I don't really put much of my singing out there because I'm shy.
She's going to start though.
I'm not a huge musical fan. I mean, there's only a couple musicals that I'll watch. I saw Hamilton on Broadway. I'll watch Frozen. I don't know. I've never been a massive fan of musicals.
Nah, girl, it's because you ain't been in my musical. That's why.
Oh,
girl, you ain't been in my musical. You don't know. What's that? Pling, pling.
Girl, you look like somebody Aussie. No, you're right. I maybe that would be fun. I don't know. Oh, and also, when people keep asking me to sing Annie's song, I feel like Annie's song is a really sacred song, not only to me, but to the film and to Aster. And I think that's kind of a moment that I would like to keep as Aster's moment. So I don't want to cover that song, so I'll do anything else. But I think any song is kind of, yeah, it's like a sacred song.
If you guys want to cover that song and show us what you want to do with it,
yes,
that's dope too. And also,
I would love that.
Same for Ellie's song. I feel like that is for that specific moment, and we really want to keep true to that. But if you guys want to submit your covers, we would love to listen to them.
I would love that.
That'd be really cool.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
And then we gotta figure out a good song to cover when this is all over.
We do. I feel like
we have like a couple, I think, in our minds, but
we'll confer. We'll take a poll.
Huh?
In the end,
yeah, we should do like a poll.
We're like, do you want to do this song or this song?
Just no songs from the movie. I think.
Do you want us to do Fergalicious or Glamorous by Fergie? Like either of the two.
Fergalicious definition. Make them boys go
loco.
We'll do like a poll. We'll do a poll and come up with like maybe our top 2 or 3 selects that we're not sure which one we want to do, and we'll see what you guys think.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you guys.
Are we good? Did we answer enough questions?
Yeah. Actually, we can keep doing this. Like every once in a while, we'll hop on a live, hang out.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm really down. And do you know how to save the live? I know a lot of people were saying, please save the live for people that are asleep.
I think I can save the video. Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll do that. And we'll try and hop on another live soon. Maybe we'll do it later so that
people could come.
People from other countries will be awake and be able to kind of experience it actually live for them. So maybe we'll do it like later and on in the day, and I'll get a place with better Wi-Fi.
Girl, your Wi-Fi was good. You just gotta sit in the special room.
I know. It's literally the foyer of my apartment. I wonder if
you just have to sit in the foyer.
The foyer!
Oh, nice.
Just like a random bike. Look at this blue wall. We live in.
We chilling.
We chilling.
All right, baby. I love you so much. You guys, thank you so much for supporting this film and just watching today.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining, and we'll do this again soon. I love you, Bibiana.
Goodbye, Lexiana.
Okay, I love you. Bye, everybody. Bye.